The International Group 1 race, which is being held here today at Mallory Park. This very international field that's been lining up here, waiting to go out for this afternoon's practice. And as you can see over here, car number 24, the man will be following throughout both practice and the race, Bob Ridgard, driving the Chevrolet Camaro. Lining up there. There's a pretty big field going out to practice here, other Camaros and a complete full complement of cars out for this practice session. This Camaro has a 5.3 litre Chevrolet V8 engine in it. You can hear it revving up in the background. Bob Ridgard, 29 years old, holder of 5 lap records and only his first season of motor racing. A very colourful character and a very colourful driver in this very colourful metallic blue Chevrolet Camaro. The man behind the wheel lining up, waiting for today's practice for this afternoon's major event, the International Group 1 race. Group 1 racing for saloon cars becoming tremendously popular throughout the United Kingdom, and Bob is a leading contender in this year's International Castrol Group 1 British Championship. Bob Ridgard, what do you think your chances are today?
I should win today. Car's as good as the rest, probably a lot better, I should think. There's only 4 other Camaros to compete against anyhow, so I have a good chance.
Bob Ridgard here, strapping himself well into this very big Camaro, one of the biggest cars in the race. You heard Bob say there are 3 or 4 other Camaros in this race. You're seeing him put on the all-enveloping Bellstar helmet. These are all, of course, safety precautions for these very quick and tremendously exciting to watch motor cars in Group 1 racing. As we said, Group 1 racing becoming more and more popular as time has been going on. It's still somewhat of a new way to go racing in this country. The definition of a Group 1 car is that it's got to be very, very much like the normal everyday road car that you drive on the road. There are a few modifications, obviously, for safety's sake, so we're going to be following with intensity Bob Ridgard in car number 4, the Chevrolet Camaro. And this tremendous grid of cars here going out to start the practice here today at Mallory Park on a rather sultry, overcast day, but nevertheless very dry day. And it looks as if it's going to be both an exciting practice and a very exciting race, as are all Group 1 races. And in fact, Group 1 racing proving immensely popular with the crowd and really bring out crowds in their thousands to the many major motor racing tracks all over the United Kingdom. That's also in Scotland, from Ingliston in Edinburgh right down to the southern tip of England at Brands Hatch, where in fact Bob will be racing in the John Player British Grand Prix, meeting with 2 of his Chevrolet Camaros, from himself and another, with another driver. Indeed, a very successful equipe to follow. The deep rumble of all these Group 1 saloon cars here. And now go the cars to start practice. There goes Bob Ridgard. And the whole field there, obliterating the picture, full of cars. There goes the Camaro, past a few of the slower cars. Ridgard busily learning the track here at Mallory Park. He's never been here before. but still holds 4 or 5 lap records at different circuits up and down the country. Going through the tricky hairpin here at Mallory Park. Great shrieks of tyre noise coming from these exciting to watch Group 1 cars. These Chevrolet Camaros, very difficult to get around this very tight and tricky circuit. Hey, look at the understeer on this car. See the understeering technique of this driver here. Look at the wheels turn. Ridgard is certainly making up on his rivals. According to our time, he's second quickest at the moment in practice on his first ever. Whoa, nearly hit the wall there. At his first ever appearance at Mallory Park. A tremendous effort by Bob Ridgard. Blue flag being waved here. Everybody to get out of the way of Bob Ridgard, who's coming round here, round the hairpin. Really exciting, these Group 1 cars. Let's watch the tyres spinning on this car. And through comes Bob Ridgard. Once again, negotiating the hairpin. Masses of understeer, but he's away. While other cars trail behind. Well, there's not much doubt that this afternoon's Group 1 race is going to proving perfectly, tremendously popular with the crowds. And look at that tyre smoke. And Bob Ridgard once again doing tremendously well. You can see Ridgard there fighting for the wheel, fighting with the wheel all the way through this tremendously tight circuit here. And other cars, Demon Tweaks no less. He'll need that to get around this circuit. Well, there's no doubt about these Group 1 Camaros, a tremendous spectacle for the large crowd here today at Mallory Park. Once again, Bob Ridgard, Chevrolet Camaro, car 24, fighting with the wheel. Bob Ridgard, flashes going, let's watch him through the windscreen. And that was the last lap of practice. Practice drawing to a close here from this Group 1 for this Group 1 race this afternoon. Well, there's no doubting this afternoon's spectacular racing that we're going to see in this international motor race. So with an obviously exciting afternoon's racing ahead of us, we look forward to seeing these cars in action for the Group 1 race here at Mallory Park. The crowd really loving the sort of squeaking of tyres. Just look at that go. The screaming of tyres and everything that these drivers put into this exciting form of racing. The advertising can be seen quite clearly on these cars, you can see, and really proving the worth of promotions and advertising through this media of motor racing. So with cars going in to finish practice, we're really looking forward to this thrilling race we're going to be seeing this afternoon. So now let's go and talk to Bob Ridgard about what looked like a very exciting time on the racetrack. Bob Ridgard, we've been watching you out on the track this morning here at Mallory Park. What was it like? It looked rather spectacular from the trackside.
Well, it felt good. It's like sort of driving in a slushy American car, what they call them. It's got power steering. It makes it a lot easier, although you're doing a lot of opposite lock-in. But you've got the power to pull yourself out.
It's a very tight circuit here at Mallory Park. Does this present any great difficulty with this very large American beast that you're driving?
Yes, it understeers an awful lot, which overheats the tyres, and you have a chance of throwing treads. The only trouble, it's a very heavy car.
Now, with regards to this afternoon's race, we understand from our sheets that you're just a tenth of a second outside the lap record and second quickest in practice. Now, that's not bad. Is this your first time here at Mallory Park?
Oh, yes. Well, first time on the long circuit, but I expected fastest, but never mind. Second fastest, just as good.
You expected to be fastest?
Well, yes.
Who is in fact fastest?
Brian Pepper, but I believe he's been here a few times before.
Do you expect him to be your real main opposition, or do you see other people behind you?
I would hope I'm right out in front.
You would hope you're right out in front. Group 1 racing as an international class of motor racing has certainly drawn the crowds. After all, they look like your everyday road cars, and they don't sort of feel. You just told us you don't feel like your everyday road cars. What do you think is the attraction of this Group 1 racing?
I think that they just look very spectacular. Big car rushing around a track and wallowing around and sliding. With the other formula, they're very stable. They sort of like on rails. With Group 1s, at least you can see them driving. And they sound spectacular. They just what racing's about.
This obviously draws in the public, you quite rightly said. Now, for a prospective sponsor or commercial interest, what is Group 1 viable, and why would it be viable?
Oh, I think to start with the car, you've got fantastic coverage for sign writing, stickers and that on the car. The press are always picking on, especially a big American car. It's always been mentioned in national press, and in fact in international press and international races. They love American cars. It has this aura of power and
well, Bob, you've noticed also today that they got the TV cameras from the Midland Television Network. Is this normal for a Group 1 race?
90% of them have television, yes. Oh, yes.
Local coverage?
Oh, yes, always.
Now, what about this car specifically? Can you give us a few details on it?
In what way?
Well,
history?
Its origin and what it's powered by?
Well, it was a road car last year, imported from America, in fairly worn-out state. Been rebuilt now, brought up to Group 1 specification, completely rebuilt. Resprayed, and I must say 30 coats of hard-rubbed lacquer.
Bob, this is your first year in international racing, in fact your first year racing full stop. Can you give us a detailed history? Your short history in motor racing so far?
Yes, I've done, I think, about 10 races now. Very first one was at Silverstone, where I got the lap record, which still hasn't been broken. That was last year. On the small track at Mallory, I was at pole position. Thruxton, I was third fastest, but forgot to put it in gear at the start. So started out the back of the grid, but finished fourth. This year, I've got 5 lap records now. I think that's enough.
Bob, we're watching out for you this afternoon. Best of luck. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Cars lining up here on the grid for this afternoon's International Group 1 race. Threading his way through the very large field. Coming towards us there, Bob Ridgard, the man we've just spoken to, driving car number 24 on the front row of this grid. The first time, as he said in his interview, the first time he's been here at Mallory Park. Lining up alongside him, car number 19, Brian Pepper. Then alongside, middle of the row, sits 29-year-old Bob Ridgard. On the outside of the front row, Malcolm Kay, yet another Camaro, and a very full complement of cars all the way down the grid. A very full grid for this 10-lap race here today.
12.50. So just to repeat those results, 7:10.14. 5:11.6.
A tremendous spectacle this race is going to be. Should prove to be very exciting, and we watch them going through the S's and through Devil's Elbow up there at the top part of the Mallory Park circuit. Obviously the tremendous advertising potential from these very big, bulky and noisy American cars is tremendous, because what the crowd have come here to see are these saloon cars, everyday saloon cars that looks like the sort of car that they can buy in the showroom. And they get tremendous coverage by the very fact that these cars have proved to be ultra competitive and give off very, very fine racing indeed. 3 minutes ago to the start of this International Group 1 race.
But I think it's more likely to be a ship's cabin if you look at the size of these monsters. Centre front row, number 2 spot. By the way, Pepper's practice time was 59.
A good crowd here today, some 10,000 people here at Mallory Park. 2 minutes to go. Packed car parks here. The 1 minute signal there being given, the 1 minute signal. And this race should really prove to be tremendously exciting. Let's zoom in again to this very full complement of cars here on the grid, all cars running. The man we're watching, Bob Ridgard, first time at the circuit. First time at the circuit here at Mallory Park, holder of 5 lap records, a leading contender in Group 1 international motor racing. Flag up, down there away, and tremendous smoke going. The whole field there goes straight past, and it looks as if Bob Ridgard's made a very good start indeed. In second place there, same position as he was on the grid. There are the 3 Camaros, still Bob Ridgard in second position. All the other cars streaming through Devil's Elbow. Car 24 going superbly well, trying for the lead there. And the rest of the field, smoke and everything. And as we look across onto the back straight here at Mallory, Ridgard trying for the lead there on the outside. Still second. And just look at this advertising you get from these superb cars. The crowd are really going to notice a car like this with wheel spin and everything. Tremendous excitement. Once again, look at these cars, how close they are. Oh, and look at Ridgard controlling the slide on that car. A real professional there. First season of motor racing. A tremendous spectacle Bob Ridgard is giving us in this Group 1 race. And just look at these brutes. The crowd really getting value for money. Out of the hairpin. Ridgard has just broken the lap record. Ridgard has now broken the lap record by 1/5 of a second. Down the back straight. The cars here overtaking back markers. Ridgard being chased very heavily by Brian Pepper, who was in the pole position car. But Ridgard has broken the lap record. Looking down into the out of the hairpin. These 3 Camaros giving a tremendous display of motor racing. And of course the rest of the field way behind them giving a splendid display of wheel-to-wheel and wheel-spinning motor racing. The tremendous crowd here today getting real value for their money in this international Group 1 motor race. And behind Ridgard is still holding a tremendous second place. Oh, and there's somebody almost going up there really sideways. Well, this is what Group 1 is all about. Group 1 racing, the real motor racing in Great Britain. And with lights ablaze, it looks as if it's all happening here. Still the leading car there. And as the checkered flag goes out for the end of the race, they're all still jumbled up and very close together, but it's still Bob Ridgard in second place. Broke the lap record here at Mallory Park, but yet on his first ever visit to this circuit, really an exciting race. One well worth watching, and of course for the prospective commercial interest in this motor race, very exciting, because Group 1 racing, as has been shown today and this morning, gives the individual commercial interest, the individual sponsor, and the race crowds, all the television and all the coverage that motor racing gets here in Great Britain, a tremendous boost, because this is the way to advertise. A new media for motor racing, and in fact there goes the winner, getting the applause he rightly deserves from the very large crowd here, a crowd bolstered well by the media and the coverage that this race meeting has got in the press. Indeed, a very worthwhile race, and a very exciting race, of course, for all of you who've been watching it. And as the remaining cars go into the paddock here, we hope you've enjoyed this excellent Group 1 International Motor Race, and it's shown you what Group 1 racing, Bob Ridgard and his successful Chevrolet Camaro can do in an international class of motor racing. So with that, on a nice and warm now, sunny afternoon here in Leicestershire at Mallory Park, we say goodbye to you.